I'm going to video this and get you all a copy of the video and the notes afterwards as well. So if you do want to take notes, take them. If not, you're going to get notes. Anyway, we good? Cool. Okay. So basically, the topic of today is why your brain hates you and wants you to fail. Essentially, what we're going to look at is, you know, why do all your dieting efforts go to waste? Why does all your goal setting go to waste? Why do you struggle with stuff that you actually want to achieve? Like, is there something else going on outside of, you know, just not being able to meet a goal? So normally I start with a big long meandering story, but like I was telling the guys this morning, I had absolutely nothing. And the reason why I had nothing was because I put so much pressure on myself to actually think of something. And in putting pressure on myself to think of something, I actually made a story up. And the story was basically, under pressure, you'll never operate to your full potential. If you're not happy, if you're stressed out, or if you're worried about something, you'll never be able to dial into those deeper levels of cognitive power, of creativity, of action, and of logical thinking that'll actually get you towards your goal. So until you're comfortable and until you're happy and in a safe place, and safety and threat becomes the main topic of today, everything becomes difficult. So really, the first thing to address is willpower. And you know, if you want to lose weight, you just need better willpower, right? You just need to stick to your diet more. You just need to eat better, you need to train harder, and that's all there is. There's no magic tricks. But willpower is not enough, okay? Because how many of you really want to lose weight? How much of you really want something, a better job, a better car? You want something better in your life, but you still haven't got it. So willpower isn't enough. It can't be enough, because if it was just willpower, and if it was just wanting something, you'd have it already. So there's lots of things you don't want, or you want that you don't have. So therefore, are you self-sabotaging? Are you putting the brakes on yourself? Are you creating trouble for yourself and not getting the goal that you actually want? And the answer is no, you're not self-sabotaging either. Because self-sabotaging is a conscious thought. It's the action of deciding to sabotage your goals. And nobody consciously decides to do that. Nobody goes, right, I'm going to spend the next 6 weeks losing weight, and then tomorrow they go, right, I'm going to sabotage, I'm going to eat a load of cookies. It just happens. It happens kind of reactively. You don't plan to have it happen. So if it's not a conscious and willful thing, it can't be self-sabotage. It has to be something else. You're not weak-willed, because at the end of the day, willpower isn't enough. Like, willpower is just another way of saying doing shit I don't want to do. Because if you wanted to do it, you wouldn't need willpower to get through it, right? That makes sense, yeah? A little bit of interaction will help as well. So essentially then, the health and fitness industry has fundamentally failed. Because right now we know more about human performance, physiologically, mentally, emotionally, nutritionally. We've more knowledge than we've ever had as a human race. Our sports scientists are better, our nutritionists are better, our medicine is better, our treatments are better, and our recovery tactics are better. The 100-meter world record has been broken recently, the 200 has as well. The marathon world record. All of the big major strength standard records have all been smashed in the last 10 to 15 years. So we're evolving as a human race, right? Not really. We have more people fat, sick, overweight, unhealthy, and unhappy than we've ever had before. So we know more stuff, but we're failing at everything. So as an industry, health and fitness is failing you. And here's why. It's because we don't understand. It's because you don't understand these three things, okay? Let's get rid of her. So you got obviously a hilariously big-breasted woman, a plug of puss, and some absolute sleazeball. So there's certain things that don't fool people, okay? Like fake confidence on Facebook, things dressed up as things they aren't, and hilariously oversized fake breasts. They're not fooling anybody. But as an industry, we're fooling you into thinking we have the answers, when really the answer lays in here, and it lays in your brain. So let's meet it. We're going to do like a really quick chat just about the various levels of gremlins in the roof of your brain. So essentially, when we start talking about this, and this is like a really like top-level bro science-y approach towards it, you've got like your reptilian brain, so like the lowest level of evolution. It's the thing that was there from day one. It's the thing that's in charge of protecting you, of looking after your safety. The next step in evolution, the limbic system, let's call it mammalian brain just for clarity. The green part, it's the part responsible for love, connection, for safety, and for coming together as a tribe. And then finally, your human brain, the thing that makes you uniquely able to think, to create, and to be logical, that, you know, the animals don't have. So it's essentially what separates us from the animals. I keep clicking this way, it's over here. So your brain does four things. It recognizes patterns. It creates predictions based on those patterns. It creates a response based on the prediction, and then it creates movement or action based on the pattern. So, the pattern recognition, your brain is constantly scanning the environment, looking to see what's going on around you. Is there somebody off to the side who's a threat to your imminent survival? Is there a car speeding towards you? Because if there's a car speeding towards you, your brain screams, shit, I'm gonna die, I've gotta do something. So its prediction on that is, there's a car accelerating rapidly towards me, I better make a response, and the response is, I'm gonna dive out of the way. And then the action based on that response is the actual diving. And that's really what's happening anytime you make a decision or you feel under threat. And I'm not saying threat as in like I'm standing nose to nose here with Gar all up in his face. Like that's not the kind of threat we're talking about here. What we're talking about is anything that alerts your brain, like the lower levels of your brain, to some sort of impending threat. And really, the threat could be anything. It can be something as simple as missing a dinner with your friends because you're on a diet. And that alone can be enough to start to sabotage diet and weight loss efforts. So really, we've got 3 brains, okay, and you're a combination of all 3 of them. Your reptilian brain, so it's your lizard, your animal. It's responsible for the 5 Fs, fight, flight, freeze, food, and fuck. Okay, so essentially, or fornicate, whatever you prefer. So it's the one that's in charge of survival. So are you getting enough food? Are you getting shelter? Are you safe from attack? If you have all those things, awesome, let's keep the species going. That's its only goal. So its basic need is to make sure the species survives and continues. And for that to happen, you can't die. You've got to have enough food and you've got to be mating. So it all comes down to sex. And then later you talk about love. So the mammalian brain then is responsible for love, connection, and emotion. So it's the thing that started to bring us into tribes and to make us, you know, the collective human race we are, that we work together. Hundreds, thousands, millions of years ago, we figured out it's easier to raise children and to be safe in groups. So we started to form tribes. And then your prefrontal cortex, your human brain, the thing that's responsible for logic, the thing that's responsible for creativity. So, again, there we go. If you think about this in evolutionary terms, like oldest, next oldest, newest. So it's kind of, your brain's been growing upon itself through evolution. So Maslow got it right, okay? Most people who've been through a college degree have probably heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Even if you haven't, you've probably seen it. So, again, the base level stuff is, you've got physiological and safety needs. If you don't have those, you can't worry about anything else. The very top level of the pyramid is self-actualization. It's achieving all that you want to achieve. It's being everything you want to be. It's reaching all of the goals you've set for yourself. But until everything below it has been fulfilled, so your physiological need for food, for water, for shelter, safety from attack and safety from threat, love and belonging as a group and being cared for, and self-esteem stuff, you can never reach that self-actualization level. So the deeper and the stronger everything underneath it is, the better off you become on a high level. So, why does your brain hate you? Your brain hates you because it's only got one goal, okay? The deepest level, the reptilian brain controls essentially everything. It's the thing that's stopping you from achieving your goals, and its only goal is survival. It doesn't give a shit about you thriving. It doesn't care about you driving a new car. It doesn't care if you want a six-pack. Its only goal through all of this is surviving, and survival are the 5 Fs. You know, does it fight, flight, or freeze in response to threat? Has it got enough food? And can it spread its seed? If it can do all those things, then maybe we can start thinking about thriving, but not necessarily. So, here's the thing about your brain. It's like Velcro for bad thoughts and Teflon for good ones. So, a good friend of mine explained this to me before as this sort of concept. The whole thing is, if anything ever bad happens to you, you tend to hang on to it. You don't really let go of it too easily. You know, the bad experiences are the ones you go to again and again. If I ask you to think about like 5 things that have happened this year that have had a major impact on you, most people will go to the bad stuff. And there's, like, you know, there's actually a reason for it. Like, your brain is wired with a bias towards negativity. And that kind of makes sense, because by having that bias towards negativity, it means it's more aware of impending threats. It means it's more alert towards stuff that can go wrong. And remember, your brain's only job is survival. It doesn't care about your new car. It doesn't care about your six-pack. It doesn't care about your clothes. It wants to make sure it's not under attack and in impending danger. So, you're wired with a bias towards negativity to protect you. So really what we're thinking about with this is negativity is just your brain operating on a higher level of protective function. So its goal through all this is to make sure you don't get fucked up. Every time you respond to something, it's just a response based off what your brain thinks it needs to do at a certain point in time. So a car comes speeding in towards me, I dive out of the way. That's the appropriate response because I'm under threat. Guy charges into the room with a gun, I go diving out the window and leave you suckers to deal with it. Because again, in that scenario, it's the responsible thing to do to make sure I survive, to mate and spread my seed so that the species keeps going. I'm not consciously making a decision or thinking about all the people that are going to get hurt because it happens immediately. It's a reactive thing. That's like, you know, you're starving, you're hungry, oh man, I'm already eating sugar. Okay? You don't logically make the decision to do it and you're fighting yourself doing it. You can see yourself going to the fridge, you can see yourself opening it up and looking in for something sweet and tasty, and you still can't stop it because at this stage you're out of your mind. You're out of your mind and into your brain. So when I say mind, what I'm talking about is like the higher levels of functional thinking, and brain is just like the animal reacting to stuff. So really, anytime you react to something, you're just responding based off what your body thinks it needs, or what your brain thinks it needs at that point in time. And if over time you notice yourself unhappy with your decisions, feeling sad about stuff, or with like general negativity in life, all that is an invitation for you to change something, okay? Could be anything, but initially it's just a chance to say, okay, something's not right, maybe I need to fix this. But it all leads to threat, okay? So anytime we talk about threat, what we're just talking about is, it's over here, isn't it? Your reduced ability. I'm going to read like maybe 2 or 3 of the slides. Do you guys want to just like grab a couple of chairs? There's 1 or 2 floating around. I don't just dropping. It's also cool to get coffee. So what we're talking about is threat. So it's reduced ability.